Rastafari rule and reign. Rastafari guide and protect I again. Hold fast. Lion with the crown, 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 lion with the crown. Pythagoras and Anaxagoras, Rasputin, Erasmus, Napoleon, Leopold of Belgium, Julius, Octavian and Augustus.
Once again, it's on. Give thanks and praise, all checking in. Yeah, we are here in the historical Western area. Yes, indeed. Located in Atlanta, Georgia. And we're thankful to see so many black love and unity happening in our area, in our own community right here. It was a real uplifting vibe, you know. The Nyahbinghi House came out, you know what I mean, to keep the order and things in line, and it was beautiful, man. We mixed with our brothers and sisters with the African drum beat and dancing, and we tapped into some real high energy, some love, positive energy. So I'm thankful to see that. And I'm here right now with the Nyahbinghi House, the Nyahbinghi Order of Atlanta and all over right here, which is us as a people. So I'm gonna introduce them right now.
Yes, I give thanks. Ras Jaffrey. Yes, give thanks. Ras Wali. Bless.
Yes, Ross Kush from the New Orleans house.
Yes, Ras Zion.
Yeah, and y'all now tuning in to the Think Champs. Yes, indeed. So we in. I'm thankful, y'all. I'm thankful to get a chance to introduce you to the life we live as Rasta, you know, which has been very misleading in most times, in most places, you know. So we here to clarify a lot of misleading things, and it's 2020, so I'm thinking we're seeing things a little clearer now. So y'all ready for more truth, you know, and I want to teach you the truth about what this life is about for us, as for I and I, as we say as Rasta, you know. So I'm here building with my brethren, and I'm gonna ask y'all a question, basically about what made you brethren try this life of Rastafari, you know. I'm gonna ask the eye first, Amdi.
Yes, Nigga Salam. That is Selassie first. Yes, well, I give thanks for just riding forth through these repercussions of this Babylonian captivity. You know, I looking for I self, where it's come forward with the innovation where the Most High is moving amongst his people. So I return unto the I word of the Most High, for I is an oracle people. So I return, you know, unto the words of the prophecies for I, where show I, you know, within this prophecy, a mighty king shall come, and he shall usher in a golden age of black independence and black liberty. And it shall be a moral system set up for morality of human rights. Selassie the first, you know, King Rastafari. So I will look into the books when I said Jeremiah 23. And Jeremiah 30. It said, the word came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, speaketh thus the Lord of Israel, Ethiopia, saying, write all these words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, says the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel and Judah, says the Lord. And I will cause them to return to the land that I have gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. And these are the words that the Lord spoke concerning Israel and concerning Judah. Eli. So that may I and I seek and go forward, you know, through the black resistance of Ethiopia being I rock and the root of David, you know, and the root of David. So, you know, that put I upon the chart, you know, of seeing I African Zion coming from the scripture, you know, Ethiopian in the garden, you know, I just see the African Eden that was never conquered by colonialism. You know, always been free and independent. The Negus is Eli, Selassie the first. So, you know, that put I upon that, you know, that foundation from ever since then. And then when I check for the independence, and I see I independence being led by the symbol of royalty, the King of Kings, the Lords of Lords, the conquering line of the tribe of Judah. African independence symbol being led by that symbol merely, that open come to the prophecy for I. So that's just a royal tradition for I. And it's not going to be anything unless I uphold it. You know what I mean? It won't be anything but I uphold it. So, you know, it's just something where I see royal, and for me it's I treasure. Yeah.
Yes, highly high, Selassie, glory to the word, sound and power. Yeah, we'll make our mind see the majesty, following the scripture same way. For taking upon the natty, man, no, it ain't no judgment. No, it ain't. It's a judgment. It's a judgment walk. But you set the judgment upon yourself. For taking upon the covenant, like you say, it wasn't no fashion statement. So when I analyzed that, I said, let me cite it in the fullness and cited up Numbers chapter 6. And they say when man and woman want to separate themselves from the world and become one with the Creator, it put away all negative things, and let the locks of them hair grow. So I know it was a Christ thing, and through the powers of the Most High alone, Emperor Haile Selassie being crowned November 2nd, 1930, like the scripture says, through his light shall I and I shine. So through his light we shine bright. So through his powers alone, it give me the strength, honor, and courage. And the Majesty says, seek all knowledge and wisdom and education. And give I and I the godly powers to live upful and right, the cherubims and seraphims, to keep the earth quake and moving, and a positive energy. Shake out all negativity. Eli Selassie.
Yes, sir. Ras Jaffa.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Eli Selassie. Yes, I give thanks and praises to be here with the I Night Brethren, Rastafari, Nyahbinghi. Growing up, I had a lot of people around me, a lot of great people, black man, and a lot of them knew about these things, dealing as far as the blackness, Ethiopia, His Majesty, and they didn't go forward with it. And some of the people I met with books and learning the things that I seen with my eyes, the things that I witnessed in my irid, and that was the only thing that rooted me and kept me, throughout, years. And I give thanks and praises for that. And, certain things I witnessed in the Bible that wasn't reflecting around me. The spiritual people or the church people that I was near, families, a lot of stuff didn't match up. So I kept to that same light, and ever since that's been my strength, and I give thanks and praises, be here in the presence of our night brethren, Eli Selassie the first. Yes, I give thanks.
Give thanks, El Selassie the first. Oh, brethren, a lot of ones look at like Jamaica and reggae music is what's Rasta. I'm not going to take nothing away from reggae music, but the island of Jamaica has a lot to do with this liberty, regardless of the reggae music. The reggae music was just a music. We're a musical people. And basically what really bring us into this liberty, because the reggae music, Rasta, that's only going to take you but so far. It's only going to take you but so far. And if you're really seeking this thing for real, you're gonna go deeper. You're gonna go more indigenous. You're gonna go more ancient. And I ain't gonna lie. Basically, Marcus Garvey looked to the east, a crown of a black king. That was just so powerful. The brethren, it was so powerful. He had so many ones in a unity. And from Marcus Garvey was basically sprung out of Islam and Rastafari. All of that comes springing out of Marcus Garvey. So basically I look to the east and I see the crowning of the black king, and when I see the king, automatically right there I knew right then and there that this was it. Because I and I don't choose this thing, the Majesty choose the eye. So basically it's already inside the eye. The race is not for the swift, so many ones come into this tribe so swiftly and so quickly, But right now is the endurance. The ones who are here right now still upholding the liberty, still hailing the king, after they talk about the king, after they say the king dead, the king buried, the king this, the king that. It is I and I who endure, because I and I still hold it up with no apology. You know, so.
They try to tear down the statue, but I and I are the statue. We uphold the statue.
Yes, I.
They did tear down that white Jesus off the wall.
True that.
First thing they did.
So that's really what make I and I start to come into the liberty for real, because when I look unto the east and see the king and see the crown of the king, a thing can bring tears to your eyes. It can be every attribute of his majesty to some next eye is a convincing attribute, like one time. So that crowning, that triple crown, that gold crown, and them eyes, that was the convincing attribute for I one time right there. It just basically proclaimed the truth and the rights within I and I self, because so I and I look upon I and I self as sons and daughters of Haile Selassie I I, more so than just Rasta, because Rasta could be taken as any mere gimmick or any joke kind of thing, any kind of jaja reggae thing, and a lot of them ones there don't even really want to stand up in the fullness of his imperial majesty, you know?
I mean, if you look at all the songs, all the reggae songs that's been made and been played, it should be a great movement for I. If all these songs is built on the back and sweat of what we went through, it should be a movement. Someone should have been a millionaire by now and said, you know what, let me invest this in my people so we can get my people on the land and making these things a reality, not just a song, you know? And this has been going on way too long, to a point as now it's becoming redundant. You understand? Because there's no movement. It's just word sound, you know what I mean? But no action behind it, you know? So we get into the time right now where is that things are coming to a reality again, finally. You know what I'm saying? People are actually looking into real history again. And not his story, but our story. You know, because if you do any story of our story, you got to see His Imperial Majesty in the picture. You know, you have to see His Imperial Majesty in the picture and what he has done for I. Now, if we go back into the early 1930s, we go back into the early 1930s, it was black and white, right? We're in the early 1930s in black and white, and black people is witnessing the crowning of a King of Kings coming from the east, as the brethren said, to sit upon the throne of David. Black people are witnessing this with their very eyes. You have black people walking the streets of New York and Chicago with His Imperial Majesty painting, sitting on the throne, holding the scepter in his hand, and actually with the triple crown upon his head. Black people were more liberated. We were more uplifted to see these things, this prophecy fulfilled. Even so, then it got to the time when it was a war between Ethiopia and Italy, the black people in United Snakes were ready to defend and fight for Ethiopia. They were ready to die for Ethiopia too. And this was going up into the same time as the Marcus Garvey realms and all those things did. The UNIA was there. Most of those people still the same way was ready to go fight for Ethiopia. And if they couldn't fight, they made sure they were sending money. There were also a lot of money that was made and sent by the black people here in America, our grandfathers and our grandmothers, okay? That's who it was. It was all our grandmothers and grandfathers who was all about black unity, okay? They were all connected in that strong bond. And Marcus was the one who brought that reality to fall for it. He said, look to the east, as the brethren say, for the crowning of your king, right? He also said, Africa for the Africans, those at home and those abroad. So we hear these words and we hear these sounds, and it connects us more into our ancient self. So that made us fully whole again, you know what I mean? And this is what Rasta is about. It's a whole truth. It's not half a truth, you know? It's nowhere near a lie. You can't find a lie in His Imperial Majesty because His Imperial Majesty has done it. He has done more things than we even know. And I want to get a chance too for ones to speak on some things too that the item know that His Majesty has done, you know. Raskush.
Haile Selassie, Kabela Kailu Demsu Hailu. That's some Harik tongue. Glory to word, sound, and power, and I just say. The King Haile Selassie, today is July the 5th, 2020. Like I say, we're in a time where we should be seeing clear 2020 vision. The Most High Emperor Haile Selassie, the conquering line of the tribe of Judah, 225th descendant, direct lineage of King Solomon and Queen Sheba, came to New Orleans, where I dwell and live at, from in America. Went through New Orleans June 24th, 25th, 1954, and it was around the time of the Brown versus Wade. Brown versus Wade, the Board of Education. And there was asking the Majesty about numerous other things, but that was his main concern, you know, segregation. And the time it was coming up the street, there was a motorcade when the Majesty came, coming off the planes. It was a motorcade of people running up the street, tearing down black and white signs before the Majesty come, you know, up and see these type things. So again, segregation of education. Haile Selassie bust those chains, you know. That's the hidden secret, the recipe, the hidden agenda that they may not have told ones or enlightened ones about. But again, today Babylon pushing we in this corner to where we at home, and these are the times where we shall be teaching our own youth and enlighten them. It should have been done way before, which I and I's roster do and take time. But I mean, this is the time we shouldn't let them push us in them corner. We should have been teaching and educating. But Haile Selassie is the minister of education. He come to uplift I and tell us to gain all knowledge. It may not be for you at the time, but enlighten yourself on it. So when the matter comes at hand, you know what it is. So I continue to live good over evil, which Haile Selassie had the first fought for. So yeah, man, the educator, you know, and we continue to gain knowledge in all things, you know. All the knowledge that they have and stolen is I knowledge. So learn yourself. Seek knowledge before vengeance.
Yes, sir. Give thanks. Give thanks. Black Sound. Yes, sir. Give thanks. Also, they told a lie. They told a lie, you know. They said the white man came to Africa, and he came with the Bible, and he told the black man to close his eyes. And when the black man closed his eyes, he gave him the Bible, and he said he opened the eyes, the white man had the land, and the black man had the Bible. That's total a lie. Because we taught them how to read and write. Ethiopia had a Bible in Ethiopia 3,000s of years before they even came on even the land. So we already had the knowledge. We already had the wisdom, and we already was educated with word, sound, and power, right? So we had the land too. What they did take was the land. Now that's a fact. They did take the land, and we can open our eyes and see that. You know, we ain't got to close our eyes and see that they took the land. But the reality is we got to realize that the land is for us. It's our land, and we have to want to return home. That's why I love Rastafari, because it's a mission for I to be free, totally, independently free from all of these little Jim Crow laws and all these things here. Ethiopia is a free, independent nation from the beginning of time still to this time. And it's being defended on by righteousness. So that's why the Most High has blessed it. It is a blessed land.
Defended it from that time, even from this time, even forevermore.
Truth and right. So we looking in the times that we living in. There's no mystery to I. We are strangers in a strange land. You know, everyone always asks me where you're from. You know, I know where I'm from. I tell you I'm from Ethiopia. They say, oh, that's good, that's good, that's good. You know, but one thinking, they say that's where they from too. You know, when you really know yourself, you Ethiopian, that's where you're from. You know, where you were born, you know, in these places is a different story. But where you're from, you need to know that, you know, because every other nation knows where they're from, you know. So I love Nyahbinghi, I love Rastafari, for it's always been truth. It's always been the light. It's always been the light without a candlestick. It's always been the flame in the dark. It's the truth, because the truth is like the light. You ever watch TV and you see when somebody get a light shining on top of their head? That means intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Because only intelligence holds light. Ethiopia has always been lit. Yeah, you run around trying to get lit. Ethiopia has always been lit because it's been lit with intelligence. All right? So we're thankful in this time for ones coming through building, because we want y'all to know what this life is about. It's also a natural life. They got a thing right now called vegan, you know? And yeah, vegan is a baby still. Vegan is a baby. Remember I tell you that. Vegan only 12 years old. He might be 15 now. He might be 15. Vegan been around 15 years. Okay? He might be. I don't even know if he's really 15. He might be 13 or 12. I'm thinking. But still, differently though. Ital Liberty. What I and I as Rasta been living has always been here. And it's been here way longer than what these little tribes and things they doing now. They got these fasts and all kind of things people doing, you know what I'm saying? They doing, you know, water fast and all kind of things. But
Keto diet and
all this stuff here. But I want to make sure you fasting from evil. You know what I mean? Fasting from evil and doing good. Because that's what the Almighty require, you know? No matter what you put in your mouth or you don't put in there. You still want to do good, you know, and live good amongst your people. So that's the true fast. To depart from evil and do good. You do that every day. You don't leave one day of not fasting, departing from evil and doing good. That's the Rastafari tribe.
Hard to believe.
Yes, sir.
Loving your brother like you love thyself.
Are true. Wholeheartedly. Because it's one love. We one people. You know what I mean? Yeah, my brother hurt, I hurt. You know, my sister hurt, I hurt. We got to be to that oneness again to make sure everybody good. And there's no pain, there's no tears, there's no crying. You know what I mean? There's only joy. Yeah, man. If it's tears of joy. Because those are good tears too. You know? Yeah, so we thankful, man. We thankful to be able to build with y'all. And we still got more reasoning, because my question is too, how do y'all see the liberty? It's just the Ital liberty, you know? Ras Wale.
Yes, how I see Ital liberty?
Yes, sir.
Well, like I said, vegan been around a short while,
Yes, sir.
and Ital been around since the Garden of Eden. It's basically the whole liberty of Rasta. It's like looking inside yourself, being true to the thyself. You know, killing an animal. If you had to kill it to eat it, you probably wouldn't do it. You probably would go Ital. Because if you see what they do to the animals before you get to the plate, you might change your mind. And that's basically the main reason why I don't deal with eating meat, is the slaughtering of a life. It's a life that you slaughtering when the Father give you fruits, vegetables, thousands of different species of fruits and vegetables and greens, and all these things here promote life and purify the body and keep the longevity living. Slaughtering these animals and eating what the animal eat, that's cutting the lifespan short. You read the scriptures, the prophets in the Bible lived 200, 300, 400, 500 years old. Look where we at now. We lived barely past 50, 60. And it's because of the food clogging up the arteries, plaque in the veins, heart attack, diabetes, cancer, all these things from bad eating. It promotes a imbalance in the body, and you start shaking the grounds of what's inside you, like cancer. We all got cancer cells inside of us. But if you start putting all these meats and all these porks and all these different juices, now you're shaking the cancer house.
Right.
You see, you're bringing the cells all out, and,
Right.
and you're discombobulating everything, and you're making them go all haywire in the body, and that's what promote basically cancer. Because once the cells go everywhere, there's thousands of cells. That's why you got cancer in the foot, cancer in the heart, cancer in the lung, cancer in the throat. You can have cancer anywhere in your body, anywhere, because them thousands of cells, they just go all over the body, and that's one of the biggest killers, cancer. So basically, the Ayatel living is the way to live, and basically promoting good eating habits. It cleanses the brain and make you think differently. People that eat meat got a different thought process than ones that don't eat meat. So that right there is a significant difference, and it's one of the reasons why I don't eat meat. Not just because it's bad for you. It starts off with the slaughtering of a life. Forget about the bad for you. We don't even get to that part.
Right.
The slaughtering of a life is it, and that's it. The bad eating and the promoting of the disease in the body, that comes after just the result of you eating the meat, and there you have it. So I don't really never get to the disease, and we get right to the life. The life is more important than, like I said, you got plenty of fruits to eat and plenty of things to eat. So
True. That's good. Good things, sir. That was a black sound, man. Good things. Yes, sir. So also in the fullness is just that's what it's about. Like the brother was saying, it's about what you eat. You know, right now we just had a folly day just passed there, the 4th of July. And you know, you really sleep. You out there busting them people fireworks and playing with them people gunpowder. You know, you really sleep still. And then on top of that now, you're going in and shoving all these things in your system off that dirty grill in this day and time that's causing the corona. Here's a study and a true fact. They said that during the time of the riots, there was thousands of people out there, right? In these riots all over the world, right? No corona cases jumped up, right? All over the world, thousands of people were out in the protest, and no corona cases jumped up. Babylon holiday come up, and the corona cases jumped up. So what they eat during the holiday that they wasn't doing, because they was walking and protesting and drinking water, you know, during the protest time. And then the holiday came, they sat there, sat at that grill, and they got them charcoals and spent all that money right back into the system to support these people holiday and got themselves sick. Yeah. This is what happened because you don't want to stay focused. You really don't want to accept the reality. There's times you can't be doing these things like that. The world is going vegan, as they say right now. You know what I'm saying? It's the new trend, right? It's a new trend. Why is it a new trend? Because it's the only way that you're going to live. It's the only way that you're going to live. Everybody that don't want to go vegan don't want to live. That's what's going on right there. So now you got a time we living in, and people getting sick just because of holidays. They sitting around and what? Eating all the king's dainties and all the king's swine and drinking the king's wine. You know, full up on his dainties. You know, celebrating what? You weren't even independent during that time. The man just gave you your Independence Day, which is called, you know, Juneteenth Day. He had to bow down and accept it. Why? Because he know it needs to be acknowledged. They have to acknowledge everything that they done wrong. Why? Because it's a war against themselves.
Judgment.
You got the rich white against the ones who have feelings, and they don't want to go down what their uncles and grandparents have done. Yeah, they don't want to accept all that judgment and just go down with it. They actually want to stand out against it and step out the judgment seat. But those who fight against those who want to step out the judgment seat. But I as black people, as Ethiopian people, we not in either seat. You know what I mean? But we know who sits in the majesty seat, in the throne seat. We know who sits in the mercy seat alone, who has mercy upon his children, the truth. So I is blessed in this time. We are going into our inheritance time. Babylon time is done. Their system is falling. Remember I tell you that. The only thing is rising right now is Africa. So y'all better start learning African languages. Not just the African drum alone, but the African languages. Because if you even check the music right now, the music is even gone to Africa now. The hottest tunes is coming out of Africa right now. The hottest artists is coming out of Africa right now. Why? Because it's Africa time now. You know, it's long overdue. So we have to be ready to be able to rise up with Africa. Because don't believe the lies. Africa is on the rise. Remember I tell you that. Don't believe the lies. Africa is on the rise. So when we trot out of this place, we'll be able to see what's really real again. Because they make America like it's so big. These little four walls over here, we in a land, you know, so it can't be really that big, you know. When you check the map back there, you see that America is in a land, It ain't really just separated alone. It is really not that big, you know. You know, but that Mama Africa over there, which they've been lying with these maps for over years, you know what I'm saying? It's the biggest continent on the face of this planet. So that's where the heat and the size come from, you know. So we ain't seeing half the earth if we ain't really focused on Africa. So the time has come for I and I as brothers and sisters to return home to the land, you know, and to return home to what's truly ours, you know, and let go of these people think. That's the thing right now. We got to be ready to let go, you know. Enough people don't want to let this thing go. The same thing they did in Egypt. They didn't want to let Egypt go now. They wanted to stay in Egypt, but see, Egypt was a place of bondage. Remember I tell you that. Us as people were in bondage in Egypt. We weren't living freely as you want to think was going on there. It was a time of bondage. So it wasn't until Moses came and tried it with the children of Israel out of bondage, we actually left up out of Egypt. You understand? Enough people didn't want to go then. You know? They still didn't want to go. Because that's all they knew. You know? So the new Egypt is America. America is the new Egypt. Right now you can find Aset. You can find Ma'at. Where?
Here.
Right here, right? They ain't in Egypt. You go there, you're gonna find them standing around. Right? You can find everybody right here, right? Alright, that's the new Egypt. So we gotta remember what the word Egypt means. Egypt means a land in a place of bondage. Okay, we got to know these things, people. We got to know history, our story. We got to return back to it. What they don't want to show you is their true history comes from Ethiopia. Because all the people who built anything that was in Egypt were Ethiopian. They want to tell you they're Cushites and all these things here, but they don't want to stay black to the fact. Because even a Cushite had to have a land. Right? So the Cushite was an Ethiopian. Right? And we know this. They don't want us to know this, but we know this. And so we're thankful, man, just to block some sound. Raswale, just I wanted to block the sound about His Majesty's trip to Jamaica in 1966. And how do you guys see that sound, man? Yeah, I want to hear from you out of that sound. Because this is a very important time in history for I and I as Rasta, you know, as Rasta, when His Majesty came to Jamaica in 1966. So we want to hear the sound because it's really line things up for us as Rasta. But I want you to hear the sound from a Rasta man himself. Yes, sir.
Basically, it was pouring down raining in Jamaica at the time when His Majesty come to Jamaica. There was a place in Africa, in Ethiopia, called Jama. That was a part of Ethiopia where the British had captured some of the people from Ethiopia and brought them to Jamaica, because Jamaica was called the West Indies. There was Indian people living there. So once they invaded Jama and brought them to the West Indies, they called the people Jamaicans. So that's where they get the sound Jamaicans from. And His Majesty, as wise as he is, he knew that. He knew that. And that was a place that he always wanted to go, to Jamaica. Nobody knew why. That's his own personal reason why, out of all the places in the West Indies, he wanted to go to Jamaica the most. So basically, when he did start to fly in, the sky opened up, the sun come out, and the plane land. And when His Majesty come to the top of the plane, he basically turned back almost in tears because of the overwhelming of the love that he was getting from basically his own people. His own people, because they already knew, just like I said before, looking to the east or the crown of the king, they already knew even before then in 1920s that His Majesty was about to sit upon that throne. Because even Leonard Powell already had brought that to the light, that was happening. So, from such time, the elders already knew that, and they was already chanting Nyahbinghi way before His Majesty even come to Jamaica. His Majesty come to Jamaica in '66. One's been chanting Nyahbinghi since 1930. Since 1930. 1930 is when His Majesty took up the banner and took up to be the head of the Nyahbinghi Order in 1930, before he was even crowned Haile Selassie I, Kings of Kings, Lords of Lords, conquering all the tribe of Judah. He already took that banner up. So once he sat upon the throne of David and became Kings of Kings, that was the full fulfillment right there. That was what made the whole Jamaica just know for real that was the fulfillment of what they already knew and what was already being prophesied. So basically, His Majesty wanted to inquire even more things. Another prophecy, another proclamation was when His Majesty asked the Rasas, why you grow your hair so long, so tall?
Yes, sir.
And the Brethren Bonaji basically showed them the scripture in Numbers of the Nazarite law of the shaving of the head, and the Majesty basically told them, leave them alone. He said it just like that, leave them alone. They know what they are doing. You know what I'm saying? And basically, who am I to say different if this is what they believe? So that's another proclamation of the Majesty being who he is, not boasting, not he say what he say, straight and direct. Just like I said, when he tell them leave them alone, they know what they are doing. They basically are sons. They are my sons. They are kindred of Ethiopia. So when His Majesty did tell them that, and he brought the Ethiopian church to Jamaica, that was basically a way of, that was a stop harassment right there, because they had a foundation now to give praises at the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. It was no more just what you want to call it, in the bush, or they actually had a foundation where the government of Jamaica basically agreed and knew that the Rasas were going to be coming here to worship. So all that whole running Rasta, that's why Rasta went through a whole lot to get to that level. Running through the bush, curfew, murder, all just because one want to free up himself and grow his nati and praise Haile Selassie I. That was basically the reason for, and burning herb, the natural herb that grow, that was found even on Solomon's grave. So all these things here come together in a full circle. The proclamation of Haile Selassie I being a fulfillment of Christ, and that's why Jamaica is very, very important. Not to say that every Rasta has to come out of Jamaica, but the Jamaican people were really Ethiopian people. Those are the people who were treated the worst, you see, and brought to Jamaica and treated even worse once they got to Jamaica to praise the black king from whence they were brought from, the land of Ethiopia.
Give thanks. Yes, indeed. So that's a true sound. And, you know, even when we look at the life that's going on right now for most of these rich senators right now, you know, making money, millions and billions of dollars off marijuana, which they have legalized now for themselves, you know, because we don't have the billions of dollars that it takes, or millions of dollars that it takes to even open a dispensary like that. So it's all game, and we still getting locked up for riding around with ounces of weed in the car, you know. These things are still happening, but they still have dispensaries open throughout the whole time of this demopanic situation. So we got to really, really be wise to what's going on, you know what I'm saying, and what's going on, because first off, a lot of the weed is fake anyway, you know. They got you on all this fake generic weed that they spraying and putting all these chemicals in, and you're comfortable being gassed up. You're comfortable being gassed up, you know. Yeah. You didn't realize gas is straight fuel diesel. That's what's really just poisoning your brain. Those are chemicals, you know. Herb is the healing of the nation. Herbs are the healing of the nation. We use the herbs to heal ourselves, mentally, spiritually, and physically. That's what the herbs here to do, you know. So they have legalized this thing for themselves, and we still got black men and women still on certain prison cells blocks for having pounds of weed in their possession. But yet you're making millions off it, and you locking these people up with real hard criminals, and yet you're making millions off it. Why don't we really deal with reality and free up the herb for real? Let it return to its natural state again, you know, because you didn't create it. The Almighty created it. You didn't make the seed. You didn't make us. The Almighty created us, and He made us. So we have to return to our natural state, and the earth have to return to its natural state too. Because again, most of this weed is fake right now, because it don't have a seed. So without seed, it can't produce again. Right? So how you gonna have some weed that you can't grow again? Right? And think you have something real. That's like having a seedless watermelon. How you gonna grow that watermelon again if it don't have a seed to grow back itself again? You know. But you comfortable living a seedless life. You know. You know, it's so hard to even find food with seeds in it. That's what people crying now. I can't even find food with seeds in it right now, because they got everything so seedless. But you comfortable with that. The weed is seedless, so that means the mind state is seedless. All right?
If the man was seedless, there'll be no reproduction.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yes, sir. But that's what they want. They want us to live in this fake imaginary world where we're not respecting the seed. You know?
They don't want no reproduction anyway. They want the rights of man and woman and woman.
True.
That's seedless.
That's true. That's seedless.
Seedless.
That's seedless. That's true.
Of the Pope.
Right. Hot
Seedless
flames.
Throne.
Yes.
No reproduction, no empress, no omega, no alpha, no.
Yes, sir. That's seedless. It's true. So I applaud ones who still eating the seed. You know, even the avocado is good. It has a full seed in there. You know. Yeah, these things are good. These things give you life. People don't like the avocado because it's green. You ain't checked one benefit of avocado yet, but you don't like it because it's green. You don't like okra because it's green and slimy. You didn't check one benefit of okra yet, but you don't like it because it's green. We got to snap out of this fake reality and this fake meat, you know, because that's all it is. They cloning everything now. Back in the early 2000s, I've seen they ran across the screen that the FDA approved them to clone the cow. FDA approved them. FDA is a drug dealer, you know. Yeah, he already tell you he's a federal drug, agency, right? He's a drug dealer. So he wants to push all the drugs in your system. But he said, look, what I'm doing now is I'm not even using the real cow. I'm using the clone cow. He said, I'm going to call it the clow. Yeah. So it's the clow. A clone cow is the clow. That's what people were eating, clow meat. And comfortable with it, you know, because the FDA approved it. Here's some alphabets you shouldn't trust. The FBI, the CIA, FDA, the CDC. All right? These are some people you shouldn't trust. But in this time, it seems more people are putting more trust in these people and wonder why their health is in a bad situation. All right? MSG too, right? Can't forget him, you know. So we just want y'all to think a little bit on a Rastafari level, just a high vibration, you know, of truth and rights. I give thanks for my brethren checking in, man. And we building on this time. And this is the Think Champs.